Hola, buenos días, Español. This is Señor Irvin, and this is capítulo 19, stating opinions. Okay? Bueno, and I would make sure I take down notes here as you go through this, and at the end, there will be an activity for you to be able to complete. Let's go through the notas first. First of all, to be able to make affirmative opinion statements in Español. Now, by affirmative, it means is that we're not going to use the word no, because that'll be a negative opinion statement, which we'll talk about in just a bit. So, affirmative opinion statements in Español can begin with one of these type of phrasings. Let's begin with this one, and then let's talk about what does it actually mean. We'll even write it down over here. Yo creo que is a great, powerful statement. I believe that. Okay? It's a great way to begin it. When you begin a statement like this, you are not only giving your opinion, but you are setting up a type of statement here that you'll soon learn how to go ahead and complete. I believe that, yo creo que. What about yo pienso que? It's another great way of saying it. I think that. So similar, but again, powerful statement to be able to state your opinion. This one's a little bit interesting. Yo considero que. I consider that, and then whatever comes next. And then me parece que, it seems to me that. Sometimes me parece que can begin with a mí me parece que, and that's totally fine too. Just the word parecer is a third person verb, so it needs this word me in there instead of yo. So anyway, you can use any of these statements when you start creating your essay. I would like you to use all of them, okay, because they're all great, powerful statements. Cool. So what goes after this? If it's an affirmative statement, as it says up here, then the next verb, okay, whatever comes next in your statement, needs to be in the present tense. Okay, it's called the indicative tense. Super easy, present tense. So what would that actually look like in a sentence? Let's give you some examples. Here's a great sentence. Yo creo que, I believe that, la pobreza, and then here is my verb, es. Okay, I believe that, say, pobreza is un grande problema en el mundo. Okay, so now we've got the rest of the statement here. The word es is in the present tense, is a big problem in the world. Cool? Let's give you another example. Let's scroll this page down. Yo pienso que, I think that, el cambio climático, so climate change, is un asunto muy importante. Importante there. Is a very important say topic. See? Muy bien. So these are a great way to begin sentences. If you're going to use an affirmative opinion statement, all you do is make sure that the next verb, in this case the verb said was here, and make sure it's in the present tense, is. Okay? But what if you're going to make a negative opinion statement? You're going to say that I don't believe that. Let's go through each one of these. No creo que, I don't believe that. No pienso que, I don't think that. No considero que, I don't consider that, blah. No me parece que, I need the word parece in here. It doesn't seem to me that, blah. Okay? If you're going to begin with the word no, which you will and should make those kind of statements in your essay. Okay, so you need to learn how to do this. Then you have to do something more complex, and this is the most complex part of this whole lesson right here. You can't just use the present tense. You have to use something called the subjunctive. Okay, and the subjunctive is really strange in Español. I consider that the subjunctive endings are flipped, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. If you just have regular verbs, okay, regular verbs like AR, ER, and IR verbs that are just regular verbs, here are going to be your endings, and make sure you get these down. AR verb endings, for example, for yo, are going to end in e. Tú is es. El, ella, and usted is also e. So you see these two are actually the same. Nosotros is hemos, and ellos is en. which these endings are weird because it's really these endings in the present tense, except for this one. This one's just strange. The ER and the IR verb endings are yo, it's going to end in a, tú is going to end in as, él is the same as yo, so it ends in a, nosotros, ellos, nosotros ends in amos, and ellos, ellas, and ustedes ends in an. Okay? So you see kind of how the endings are flipped around here. So when I do use a regular verb, then I'm going to go ahead and just use these endings. Of course, Español has many irregular verbs, so let's talk about some that look like these. These are called stem changing verbs. They will still stem change, like this is an O to UE stem changer, poder. It's an ER verb, so it's going to take the endings of these endings right here, pueda, puedas, pueda, podamos, and puedan. See these A endings. This is an ER verb here also, and it's also going to take these endings. It's still stem changes, and of course stem changing verbs have that one rule where nosotros doesn't stem change. Okay, so those are some irregular verbs. Some really, really strange irregular verbs are like ser and ir. Let's make this bigger. Ser is probably the most important one, though ir is important too. Said we use it all the time, especially in opinion statements, because you're going to say like something is, or you don't believe that something is, you know, an issue. So said is going to change into these weird things. Yo is going to be sea, tú is seas, él is sea, and this is él, ella, and usted. Nosotros es seamos, and ellos, ellas, and ustedes is sean. Ir is going to be these, vaya, vayas, vaya, vayamos, and vayan. Okay? And so, in the end, what does this even mean? What does it look like? Well, if I make a negative statement, okay, let's look at this one. This was an affirmative statement that we just used earlier. I believe that poverty is a big problem in the world. What if you don't believe that? Then you would say, no creo que la pobreza, poverty, and then you can't have S in there anymore. I said you have to use a subjunctive. So now I have to choose one of these. Well, poverty is in the it form, the he and she. So I'm going to put the word sea here. La pobreza. No creo que la pobreza sea, I'll put it in bold red here, un grande problema en el mundo. You've noticed what I've done here. I've done two things. The negative form here, and I had to change this next verb to the subjunctive. Let's do that again for one of the other statements that we just made earlier. This one we just used that says, yo pienso que, I believe that. Let's say, I don't believe that. No pienso que. Climate change, el cambio climático. We got to change this one from S to, again, sea. And sea meaning, again, it just means the word is in English. But now, in Español, because you made this part negative, this part needs to change to the subjunctive. Okay, so now it reads, no pienso que el cambio climático sea un asunto muy importante. Again, let's put importante. Cool. All right. Hopefully not too horrible and bad. This negative form is the hardest part. Okay. So what do you have to do to complete this assignment? Write these notes. Show me that you completed them. You wrote them down yourself in your own handwriting. And then complete the following. I want you to go ahead and type up 5 affirmative opinions on some worldwide issues without using translators. Use what we just did in this lesson, and then also use the vocab from the chapter, the capítulo. There's a ton of vocab in there. Use it. Do not use translators again. Type 5 negative opinions. So use this craziness about the negative opinions and using the subjunctive, okay, on some worldwide issues, utilizing what you learned from the capítulo. Make them different than these, okay? You should be able to come up with all kinds of issues in this capítulo. Form 5 negative opinions. Don't use the translators, okay? You should type both of them up in Word and save them somewhere where you can access them later, because you can use these, okay, to get an idea about how you're supposed to write opinions, either affirmative ones or negative ones, in your essay. Submit all of this to Schoology and boom, you are done. Adios, hasta la vista. If you have questions, of course, let Señor Irvin know.